December 1960, Beverly Hills, California. Audrey Hepburn sits in her Paramount Pictures dressing room. In her hands, a small, thin book. Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. The novella that will become her next film. She's 31 years old, at the peak of her career. Roman Holiday, Sabrina, The Nun Story, each film more successful than the last. And now this. Holly Golightly, a young woman in New York who dreams of breakfast at Tiffany's and believes in happy endings. Audrey is excited. The character sounds perfect for her. Charming, vulnerable, sophisticated yet innocent. Everything audiences love about Audrey Hepburn. She opens the book, begins reading. Page 1, page 2, page 10. Then she gets to page 15, and her face goes white. Holly Golightly isn't just a charming socialite. She's a call girl, a prostitute who takes $50 from men for the powder room, who services clients in the bathroom of exclusive restaurants, who sells her body to afford her glamorous lifestyle. Audrey drops the book, stares at the wall, realizes what Paramount wants her to play. She picks up the phone, calls her agent. Her voice is shaking. "I can't do this," she says. "I won't play a prostitute. I won't do it." Her agent tries to calm her down. "Audrey, it's Truman Capote. It's sophisticated literature. This will win you an Oscar." "I don't care. Find me another film, any other film. But not this." What Audrey doesn't know is that hanging up that phone will trigger the biggest crisis of her career. Paramount Pictures will threaten to sue her for breach of contract. The studio will spend 2 years rewriting the script, and Audrey will spend the rest of her life wondering if she made the right choice. This is the story they don't want you to know. The moral crisis behind one of Audrey's most iconic films. The fight that almost destroyed her career. And the compromise that saved it, while destroying something else. To understand Audrey's crisis, you need to understand how Breakfast at Tiffany's came to her in the first place. January 1960. Martin Juro and Richard Shepard, two young Hollywood producers, buy the film rights to Truman Capote's novella. Published in 1958, it's already considered a modern classic. The story of Holly Golightly, a young woman from Texas who reinvents herself as a New York sophisticate. Capote's Holly is complex, seductive but vulnerable, manipulative but sympathetic. She survives by charming men, taking money, living on the edge between respectability and ruin. She's not a traditional prostitute. She's something more subtle, more dangerous. The producers know this will be a difficult adaptation. Capote's Holly does things 1960s cinema can't show. But they believe the character is too compelling to ignore. Their first choice for director, Blake Edwards. He's made comedies, but he has a sophisticated eye. He understands how to handle delicate material. Edwards reads the novella, immediately sees the problems. "We can't make this as written," he tells the producers. "The censors will destroy us." This is 1960. The motion picture production code is still in effect. No profanity, no nudity, no explicit sexuality, and absolutely no sympathetic portrayal of prostitution. Hollywood films must uphold moral standards. But Edwards also sees the possibility. Strip away the explicit sexuality. Keep the character's charm, her vulnerability, her dreams. Maybe Holly doesn't have to be a call girl. Maybe she's just morally ambiguous. The producers agree to develop the script with changes. They need a major star to make the project viable. someone with enough box office power to overcome the controversial source material. They need Audrey Hepburn. Audrey in 1960 is Hollywood royalty. Roman holiday made her a star in 1953. Since then, Sabrina, War and Peace, Love in the Afternoon, The Nun Story. Each film more successful, each performance more beloved. She represents elegance, class, moral purity. Audiences trust her. Parents let their daughters watch her films. She's safe. That's exactly what Breakfast at Tiffany's needs. Audrey's participation would signal to audiences, this isn't exploitation. This is sophisticated entertainment. Martin Juro approaches Audrey's agent, Kurt Frings. We want Audrey for Holly Golightly. Frings is intrigued. Capote is prestigious. Blake Edwards is talented. This could be artistic gold. Send me the material, he says. Here's where the deception begins. Instead of sending Capote's original novella, the producers send a treatment. A summary that emphasizes Holly's charm while minimizing her profession. The treatment describes Holly as an enchanting free spirit who lives by her wits in New York. It mentions her unconventional lifestyle and complicated relationships with men. But it doesn't use words like prostitute, or call girl. Audrey reads the treatment, falls in love with the character. This Holly sounds fascinating. Independent, modern, a woman who refuses to be controlled by society's expectations. She says yes to the film, signs the contract, commits to playing Holly Golightly. She hasn't read Capote's book yet. December 1960, pre-production begins. Audrey is excited about the film. She's working with Blake Edwards for the first time. George Peppard is her co-star, young, handsome, talented. The script is still being written, but Audrey wants to understand her character completely. She asks for a copy of Capote's original novella. To get into Holly's mindset, she explains to Blake Edwards, I always read source material. Edwards hesitates. The novella is complicated, but he can't refuse. Audrey has contractual approval over the script. She has the right to see the source material. Just remember, Edwards says carefully, we're making significant changes from the book. Audrey takes the novella home to her Beverly Hills house. She's married to Mel Ferrer now, a controlling marriage that's slowly destroying her spirit. But when she reads, she can escape. She makes herself tea, settles into her favorite chair, opens Breakfast at Tiffany's. The opening is charming. The unnamed narrator remembering Holly, her apartment, her cat, her dreams of having breakfast at Tiffany's when she's rich and secure. Audrey smiles. This is lovely. Exactly what she expected. Then she reaches the part where Holly explains her career. Holly tells the narrator about her Thursday visits to Sally Tomato in Sing Sing prison. $50 for each visit, supposedly carrying messages. But really, the visits are a cover. Holly's real income comes from men. Wealthy men who take her to dinner, give her money for the powder room, and expect services in return. She's not a streetwalker. She's an escort, a high-class call girl who operates in elite social circles. Audrey stops reading, rereads the passage, hopes she's misunderstanding. She isn't. These forgotten stories deserve to be told. If you think so too, subscribe and like this video. Thank you for keeping these memories alive. Capote's Holly is explicit about her profession. She takes money from men for sex. She has a sliding fee scale based on the client's wealth. She calculates how much she can charge without crossing into traditional prostitution. But she's absolutely selling her body. Audrey closes the book, sits in stunned silence. This isn't the enchanting free spirit from the treatment. This is a prostitute, and Paramount wants her to play this character. She thinks about her image, her reputation, the trust audiences have in her. How can she play a call girl? What will people think? What will her fans think? More importantly, what will she think of herself? Audrey has strict moral standards, shaped by her Catholic upbringing, her wartime experiences watching women do terrible things to survive. She's built her career on playing characters audiences can admire, women who make right choices. Holly Golightly doesn't make right choices. Holly sells her body, uses men, lives immorally, and Audrey has already signed a contract to play her. The next morning, Audrey calls her agent. "Kurt, we have a problem." December 15th, 1960, Paramount Pictures executive offices. Audrey sits across from studio head Barney Balaban and producer Martin Juro. Her agent Kurt Frings is beside her. Audrey has prepared her argument carefully. She's professional, respectful, but firm. "I can't play Holly as written in Capote's novella," she says. "The character's profession is incompatible with my values and my image." Balaban's response is immediate. "You signed a contract, Audrey. You're legally obligated to make this film. I signed based on a treatment that misrepresented the character. I was deceived about Holly's actual profession." Martin Juro jumps in. "We're making significant changes from the book. Holly won't be a call girl in the film." "Then what will she be?" Audrey asks. Silence. Because they don't have an answer. They've committed to making breakfast at Tiffany's, but they haven't figured out how to do it without Holly's profession. In Capote's story, Holly's prostitution isn't incidental. It's central. It explains how she affords her lifestyle, why she's afraid of commitment, why she runs from genuine emotion. Remove her profession, and the character stops making sense. But Audrey is adamant. "I won't play a prostitute. Find another way." Barney Balaban's face hardens. "Miss Hepburn, Paramount has invested significant money in this project. We've hired Blake Edwards. We've cast George Peppard. We've announced the film to the press. You can't just walk away." "I'm not walking away. I'm asking you to honor the character description I agreed to. An enchanting free spirit, not a call girl. And if we can't make that work," Audrey meets his gaze, "then you'll have to sue me, because I won't do it." The meeting ends badly. Audrey leaves. The studio executives stay behind, furious. Martin Juro pounds the table. "She can't just change her mind. We have a contract." Barney Balaban is colder, more calculating. "We have two choices. Sue her for breach of contract, or find a way to make Holly acceptable to her." Suing Audrey Hepburn would be a public relations nightmare, Juro points out. "She's too beloved. We'd look like bullies." Then we change the character, completely. Whatever it takes. What follows is 2 months of script warfare. Blake Edwards and screenwriter George Axelrod try dozens of approaches. Maybe Holly is a struggling actress who dates wealthy men for career opportunities. Maybe she's a Texas girl who uses her charm to climb socially. Maybe she's not taking money at all, just accepting expensive gifts. None of it works. Remove Holly's profession and the story collapses. She becomes a generic gold digger. The complexity disappears. January 1961. Paramount calls another meeting. This time, they bring lawyers. The studio attorney lays out Audrey's legal position. Miss Hepburn, your contract is ironclad. You agreed to play Holly Golightly as written by Truman Capote. Refusing constitutes breach of contract. We can sue for damages, potentially millions. Audrey's lawyer responds, Miss Hepburn agreed to play a character based on a misleading treatment. She was not informed about the character's actual profession. The contract is voidable due to misrepresentation. The legal battle could last years, cost millions, destroy relationships. But Paramount has leverage. They own Audrey's contract through 1963. If they choose, they can prevent her from making other films, effectively end her career. We don't want to fight, Balaban says. We want to make a film with you, but we need compromise. What kind of compromise? Audrey asks. We'll change Holly's profession completely, but you have to trust us to find a solution that works for everyone. Audrey considers this. She's trapped, legally, financially, professionally. If she fights and loses, her career could be over. If she walks away, Paramount can destroy her. What exactly are you proposing? She asks. Blake Edwards speaks up. Holly becomes undefined. We never explicitly state how she makes money. We imply she has wealthy friends. Maybe she's a paid companion. But we never say for what. Audiences can draw their own conclusions. It's a compromise that pleases no one. Audrey knows Holly is still essentially a call girl, just one whose profession is hidden. The studio knows they're gutting Capote's complex character, but everyone needs this film to work. Fine, Audrey says finally, but I want script approval on every scene. If anything feels too explicit, we change it. Agreed? They shake hands. The crisis is over. The film will proceed, but the real problems are just beginning. February 1961. Blake Edwards and George Axelrod begin the impossible task, rewriting Holly Golightly from sophisticated call girl to something else. They're essentially performing surgery on Capote's character, keeping her charm, her vulnerability, her dreams, while removing the foundation that makes her who she is. In Capote's story, Holly takes $50 from Sally Tomato for prison visits. In the script, she takes money for delivering weather reports to Tomato's lawyer, innocent messages that happen to be coded information for drug deals. In the novella, Holly has a sliding fee scale for sexual services. In the script, she has rich friends who give her money as gifts. No services explicitly exchanged. In the book, Holly explains her profession matter-of-factly. In the film, she's deliberately vague about her income source. Every scene requires careful navigation. How do you show Holly's lifestyle without explaining how she affords it? How do you portray her fear of commitment without her professional reasons for avoiding emotional attachment? Audrey reviews every script revision. Some scenes she approves, others she rejects. A scene where Holly discusses pricing with a client. Too explicit, change it. A scene where Holly meets a man in a hotel lobby. Implies prostitution, remove it. A scene where Holly explains why she can't fall in love. Too close to the book's reasoning, rewrite it. Edwards and Axelrod grow frustrated. They're trying to adapt a complex character while removing everything that makes her complex. We're turning Holly into a generic gold digger, Axelrod complains. She's losing all her edge. That's what Audrey wants, Edwards responds. A sanitized Holly. But Edwards understands Audrey's position. She's protecting her image, her relationship with audiences, her ability to continue making films. In 1961, playing a prostitute, even a sophisticated one, could end a female star's career. Audiences weren't ready for moral complexity from their leading ladies. The script goes through 17 drafts, each one further from Capote's vision, each one more acceptable to Audrey. By May 1961, Holly Golightly barely resembles Capote's creation. She's a quirky socialite who may or may not take money from men. Her profession is so vague that audiences can interpret it however they choose. Truman Capote reads the final script. He's horrified. They've destroyed her, he tells friends. Holly was dangerous, complicated, real. Now she's just another Hollywood princess. Capote had wanted Marilyn Monroe for Holly, someone who could portray the character's sexuality without shame. Instead, he got Audrey Hepburn, and a character sanitized beyond recognition. Paramount hired the wrong actress, Capote said publicly. Audrey is wonderful, but she's not Holly. Holly was a call girl. Audrey is a lady. There's a difference. The comment reaches Audrey, hurts her deeply. She spent months fighting to make Holly acceptable, and the author himself says she's wrong for the role. But there's no turning back. Filming begins. June 1961. June 2nd, 1961. First day of filming. Tiffany and Company, New York. The famous opening scene, Holly emerging from a taxi at dawn, eating a croissant while gazing at the jewelry store windows. It's the most iconic image from the film. Holly in her black Givenchy dress, pearls, tiara, looking elegant and sophisticated and completely respectable. This is the Holly Audrey fought for. Stylish but not sexual. Charming but not threatening. A woman audiences can admire without moral compromise. But Blake Edwards knows something's missing. The edge, the danger, the complexity that made Capote's Holly fascinating. As filming progresses, Edwards tries to smuggle subtext back into the performance. He directs Audrey to play Holly's flirtations more suggestively, to add ambiguity to her interactions with men. Audrey resists. That implies things we agreed not to imply. I'm trying to give the character depth, Edwards argues. Without some suggestion of her profession, she's just a shallow gold digger. Better a shallow gold digger than a call girl. If you want more untold stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Your support means everything to us. The tension shows on the set. Edwards wants complexity. Audrey wants safety. George Peppard, playing Paul Varjak, the writer who falls for Holly, is caught in between. Peppard later described the atmosphere. Blake was trying to make a sophisticated film about complicated people. Audrey was trying to protect her image. The character got lost somewhere in the middle. The famous party scene is the worst example. In Capote's story, it's clear Holly is working the party, evaluating potential clients, calculating who might be worth her time. In the film, she's just socializing. Charmingly, harmlessly, Audrey plays it beautifully. But she's essentially playing herself, Audrey Hepburn, at a party, rather than Holly Golightly working a room. The bathroom scene, where Holly escapes to cry privately, is where the character's emptiness becomes most apparent. In the book, Holly cries because she's trapped in a profession that requires her to perform happiness while feeling dead inside. In the film, she cries because She's sad. About something. The audience isn't sure what. Edwards shoots multiple versions of key scenes. One version for Audrey's approval, another version with more subtext. He hopes to edit the film together later, but Audrey has final cut approval. She sees every version, rejects anything that feels too suggestive. "You're neutering the character," Edwards tells her privately. "I'm making her relatable," Audrey responds. Audiences need to like Holly. Capote's audiences liked Holly, despite her profession, because of her honesty about it. Capote's audience was literary intellectuals. My audience is families, teenage girls, people who trust me to entertain them without corrupting them. Edwards can't argue. Audrey knows her audience better than anyone. But he also knows they're creating a beautiful, empty performance. The filming ends. August 1961. Everyone is professionally satisfied but emotionally drained. They've made a film. Whether it's the right film is another question. Audrey watches the rough cut. Holly is charming, stylish, sympathetic. Everything Audrey wanted. She's also boring. The danger that made Capote's character compelling is gone, replaced by conventional Hollywood charm. But Audrey made her choice. She chose her image over artistic risk, her career over creative authenticity. She tells herself it was the right choice. October 5th, 1961. Breakfast at Tiffany's premieres in New York. The response is immediate and overwhelming. Audiences love it. Audrey's performance is universally praised. Luminous, charming, perfect. The reviews emphasize exactly what Audrey hoped. Holly Golightly as aspirational figure. A woman who pursues her dreams, finds love, chooses happiness. The perfect Audrey Hepburn character. Box office is massive. The film becomes one of 1961's biggest hits. Henry Mancini's Moon River wins the Academy Award. Audrey is nominated for Best Actress. By every measure, Breakfast at Tiffany's is a triumph. Audrey's gamble paid off. But the literary community is harsh. Critics who loved Capote's novella despise the adaptation. Hollywood has sanitized a complex character into another princess fantasy, writes The New Yorker. Audrey Hepburn's Holly is charming but hollow. They've taken a dangerous woman and made her safe, says the Village Voice. This isn't adaptation, it's betrayal. Truman Capote is publicly devastating. Paramount hired a saint to play a sinner. The result is neither saintly nor sinful, just dull. The criticisms sting because they're accurate. Audrey knows she forced the filmmakers to remove everything that made Holly interesting. She chose commercial safety over artistic integrity. But she also knows she made the only choice available to her. In 1961, playing Capote's Holly honestly would have destroyed her career. Years pass. Breakfast at Tiffany's becomes a cultural phenomenon. Holly Golightly becomes an icon, but not the icon Capote created. The icon Audrey created. Stylish, aspirational, completely sanitized. Young women dress like movie Holly, copy her style, quote her dialogue. They have no idea she was originally a call girl. Audrey watches this cultural impact with mixed feelings. She's created a character that inspires women, but she's also erased a complex literary creation. 1980s. Audrey is in her 50s. Her career is winding down. She's becoming more reflective about her choices. In interviews, journalists ask about Breakfast at Tiffany's. about the differences from Capote's book. "We made the character more accessible," Audrey says diplomatically. "More suitable for film." "Do you regret sanitizing Holly?" Long pause. "I made the character I could live with playing. Whether that was right or wrong, I honestly don't know." 1990s. Audrey is dying. Cancer. Final interviews. Journalists ask about her career highlights. "My favorite roles were the ones where I could play women I admired," she says. Characters with integrity, with moral clarity. Was Holly Golightly one of those characters? Another pause. Holly was complicated. I tried to find the parts of her I could admire, the parts audiences could love. But what about the parts you removed? Audrey looks tired, sad. "Some characters are too honest for Hollywood, too real. Maybe Holly was one of them." 1993. Audrey dies. Obituaries mention breakfast at Tiffany's as one of her defining roles. The sanitized Holly, not Capote's Holly. At her memorial service, Blake Edwards speaks about directing her. Audrey protected everyone, her audience, her image, her integrity. Sometimes that protection came at a cost, but she never compromised without reason. George Peppard, also speaking, is more direct. Audrey turned Holly into someone she could live with. I'm not sure it was the character Capote wrote, but it was the character Audrey needed to play. Truman Capote had died in 1984. He never publicly forgave the adaptation, never accepted Audrey's version of Holly. But in private, friends said, he understood. Audrey did what she had to do. He told Gore Vidal in 1982, "Hollywood wasn't ready for my Holly. Maybe it never will be." December 1960. Audrey Hepburn realizes she's signed to play a call girl, faces an impossible choice: destroy her career by walking away, or destroy a character by sanitizing her. She chooses sanitization, fights for 2 years to remake Holly Golightly in her own image. Succeeds completely. The result? A cultural icon that inspired millions of women. A film that defines elegance and aspiration. A performance that cemented Audrey's legacy. Also, the destruction of one of literature's most complex female characters. The erasure of a difficult truth. The triumph of commercial safety over artistic honesty. Did Audrey make the right choice? There's no simple answer. She protected her image, her relationship with audiences, her ability to continue making films that entertained families. She chose her career survival over creative risk. But she also erased Capote's vision, turned a dangerous woman into a safe one, made complexity simple. Holly Golightly became a fashion icon instead of a human truth. Maybe that was inevitable. Maybe 1961 Hollywood could never have handled Capote's Holly honestly. Maybe Audrey saved the character by making her palatable. Or maybe she destroyed her by making her perfect. Watch Breakfast at Tiffany's today. See Holly window shopping at Tiffany's. Beautiful, stylish, dreaming of security and love. Remember, this isn't the character Truman Capote created. This is the character Audrey Hepburn needed to be. Safe enough to love, pure enough to admire, sanitized enough to survive 1961 Hollywood. The real Holly Golightly died in the script revisions. What lived was something else, something beautiful, something false, but something that inspired millions of women to dream bigger, dress better, believe in happy endings. Maybe that's worth the compromise. Maybe inspiration matters more than authenticity. Or maybe every time we choose safety over truth, something important dies. Audrey chose safety. Holly became perfect. And perfect characters can't break your heart the way real ones do. That's the price of sanitization. Beauty without danger. Style without substance. Icons without souls. This is Audrey Hepburn. The Hidden Truth. From wartime horrors to Hollywood secrets, we uncover what they've been hiding for decades. Subscribe to discover the dark truth behind the elegant image.